I've never ridden bareback before, but I just finished riding Samba without stirrups, and she did great. Best ever. And I'm going to try it. I'm going to try riding her bareback. About a year ago or so, I got on her in the round pen just to see what that felt like. And I didn't like it. I felt scared. I felt like I was going to slip off. Now here I'm trying to work out the problem of getting on her for the first time. I don't want to just plunk and scramble on her back because that's going to confuse her and upset her probably. That bucket just seems so far away from where her back is. So I'm going to lead her down to the other end of the arena where my mounting block is. And here I zoomed in on it because it was all the way down at the other end. So I just plop on her. And she's trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. She's a little hesitant about this initially. And I'm just kind of moving my legs around and I'm petting her and I'm telling her it's going to be okay. Look how she softens. And from that point on, it seemed like she was okay with it. By the way, I'm sorry the camera work is terrible. Dave is still at camp. Now, the biggest thing that surprised me about the sensation of this is that most of my leg doesn't even touch the side of the horse. Maybe that's because my ligaments in my hips are tight or something. I don't know. But it seems like only my seat bones and maybe the top half of my inside thigh actually touches the horse, and the rest of my leg hangs away from her side. Samba is a little on the chubby side, and that could also cause that. Now, when I took my saddle off, I left it right there in front of the camera out of view, and when she comes around, she sees it. And I thought, well, that was dumb. I shouldn't have left that there for her to focus on every time around. But anyway, I'm feeling pretty comfortable here, even though most of my leg is not even touching her side. You can see that there. I'm totally just relaxing my leg and letting it hang wherever it wants to. And I feel like I can do this. It's amazing. I feel like that little boy in The Black Stallion. I read that book when I was a kid. I always wanted to ride bareback. Okay, so we're going to do a little figure eight here. And she's very round. She's very responsive. I feel like I'm so low down now. I don't have like 4 or 5 inches of big, thick saddle padding and all of that to sit up on. I'm down around her back, sitting on the lowest part of her back. I thought she would feel a lot more slippery than this. It really doesn't feel slippery. It's more just a matter of balancing my seat bones on that tiny little patch where we make contact. I realize there are 2 things that enable you to balance: relaxation and self-confidence. But she did great. I'm so proud of her. This weekend we went to a dressage show in Santa Fe. And it's not just a schooling show, it's recognized by the USEF, USDF. So this is one of the major shows each year in Santa Fe. So it brings all the top riders and professionals from this area to ride. So I thought I would include a couple minutes of the riding that I saw there, and I'm curious to hear your opinion about what you see. I do have opinions about what I'm seeing, but I don't want to be mean to the people who are doing the riding and putting themselves out there. So I'll just kind of keep my commentary neutral and not personal, and give you background information where I know some, and avoid the personal comments. Now this is a stud who kept whinnying nonstop through his test. He was seriously distracted by all the mares on the showgrounds that were calling to him, but he kept it together. So we hung around at the show for about an hour, and we saw classes that included second level, third, fourth, intermediate 1, and Grand Prix, but they're all mixed up. I thought this was a lovely mare here. She reminded me a lot of Samba. This must be a second level test because she's being ridden in a snaffle. Don't they move up to a double bridle with third level? I wonder if I would ever have the skill or the nerve to ride in a horse show like this. I would be curious to know how many people at this show train their own horses. I know there are a lot of professional trainers from the area who ride in these shows to promote their businesses. These upper level riders are mainly the pros. And even the amateurs take lessons with professional trainers regularly in order to do this. I bet there's not many lone wolves like me out there trying to do distance learning to figure out how to ride. See, I'm doing this the hard way. I'm learning to ride while at the same time training my horses. Not one horse, but 2 horses. And I honestly think it would not be possible to do this without your training system. If I were trying to do this the traditional way, in the way that you see in horse shows all the time, it would be impossible. But Samba is the proof that your system works. And I'm so grateful that you're helping me with this. Now, Prairie is more of a challenge. I'm still trying to overcome some early mistakes I made with him, but eventually he will get it too. I am not going to give up on him. Now this is the 1 Grand Prix ride. Look at this magnificent horse. All he needs is a big long horn coming out of his head, and he would be like a fantasy horse stepping out of an enchanted forest. It looks like he'd be the type of horse that would require a lot of sensitivity and simpatico to get the best out of him. So what do you think of the riding in New Mexico? I'm back at home the next day and I'm feeling all inspired and motivated to learn and conquer this riding thing. So I'm working on a little stop and go with Samba. No stirrups. I'm working on my seat. I want to start to feel like I can balance on any horse at any gait. So I got to do a lot of practice. I'm trotting a little bit without stirrups here, changing direction, trying to make sure that I keep Samba very soft and don't pull her and don't make her throw her head up. I can see I need to work on holding my hands closer together. I did that last time I rode her and it worked really well. I gotta get this stop off my seat real good before I can move on. I'm eager to start learning half halts and canter. I can't wait to canter on Samba. She's got a big, wild, crazy canter in the pasture, but I know it wouldn't be like that if I asked her for it when I was riding her. I'm sure it would just be a nice little controlled canter, the same way she does a trot. In the pasture, she's got a big, wild, crazy trot, but you'd never know that by looking at her. So I keep thinking about all the things that you told me to do. to keep my upper arms vertical and my elbows at my sides, and try to keep my hands close to my belly button. I think I'm getting a little better at that. And I'm looking for that connection where she meets me halfway. And I'm starting to ride more bareback. I'm practicing my bareback riding. Now when I'm on her, I look so tiny. All of a sudden it looks like I've shrunk down to elf size and I'm sitting on this big giant horse. I'm 5'7" and she is 15.3 hands. So neither one of us is tiny, but I look so little on her. And she's doing great. I'm having a little bit of problems with stop. Just because it seems like it's a totally different sensation for her. And she's still trying to work out what this is. As you can see, my knees don't even come in contact with her sides, so I'm definitely not gripping.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to start trotting bareback quite yet, but that's not far in the future. I'm going to keep practicing at the walk, and one day I'm going to feel so confident I'm just going to start trotting.